Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the African headquarters somewhere in Africa. Good afternoon, all of you across the continent of Africa, in Europe, in South America, in China, Russia, in the evening, wherever you are in Australia, and at night, across in America, North America. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa TV, the only television online south of Sahara that gives you the latest factual analysis of the events that take place on the continent of Africa. I'm Dr. David Matsanga, and back in the headquarters of Punchline Africa Television, we have none other than senior anchor, senior presenter, our senior editor, Miriam Ogutu. Good afternoon, Miriam.
A very good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to our viewers. Good morning and good evening, depending on which part of the world they are tuning in to watch us this Sunday, which is also Mother's Day, the 8th of May 2022, and a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there watching.
Thank you very much. Across Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, in Kenya, good afternoon, nearly the man himself, Daniel Sean Wesonga, the investigative analyst, our reporter, our analyst, our investigative editor. Good afternoon, Wesonga. Daniel Wesonga.
We probably are having a bit of a connection issue there, but
a connection.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I go back to the headquarters to you for the current newspaper headlines. And a happy Mother's Day. My mother today is about 8 or 9 clocking around there. Thank you, Mom, for having done your great job on me and have disciplined me and made me look like what I am today. Thank you very much, and I'll look for something for meat for you tomorrow. As you are watching, there's nothing else, meat and some small rice, and that's all she requested. And she will have it tomorrow on Monday, because today I'm not very near where we can have the facilities for sending that meat. But thank you very much, Ma'am. Thank you very much. All the mothers across the continent of Africa, in Europe, those all who have actually labored to bring us on earth, thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, the people of Kenya, for listening and watching our television, and above all, for peaceful transition, which is in the next 3 months. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Very well indeed. Good afternoon. And just quickly through the headlines this afternoon, the Sunday has exposed the primary limitations of the business office, yet it's still to prove the office and voting. However, they choose as to create the role in the threat and the post dispensation, the story on a special provision for 6 of April 2022, with just 94 days to go to our general elections. And of course, on this day, how the amendment debate. There is also special coverage on the national page, on page 4 and 5, and around the day, around the bits of the list. Yesterday, Kenya's Ferdinand dashes to the finish line in the 100 meters race during the Kenya Classic Continental Boat Tour yesterday. And then, of course, after they had the podium places by the event ended very Mr. Bishop Bundu, Isaac Kamara, and Captain Lewis. So if you're interested, you can just have a copy and read what they have to say over certain topics. And then we move on to the Sunday Nation. And the main headline, Ruto Raila failed gender role test. Kenya's biggest political parties, UDA and ODM, are among the 43 that failed to meet the requirement to nominate at least 1/3 of contestants for electoral positions from either gender, putting them at risk of being locked out of the August 9th general election. They have until midnight tomorrow to put their houses in order. That is on page 4. Why Uhuru is yet to hit the campaign trail. The delay is in naming of running mate for Raila Odinga and incomplete projects in his Mount Kenya backyard are some of the reasons why President Uhuru is yet to officially begin campaigns. The story is on page 5, and IMF demands fresh audit into COVID cash scam. And then the up against the best, Omanyala proves his mettle. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this afternoon. Doc, back to you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much. Viewers across the continent of Africa, wherever you are in Africa watching us, this is Punchline Africa TV. Today we have a show lined up. We have the countries that are lined up for you. We have Somalia, elections in Somalia. We shall be looking at elections in Somalia and find out how elections in Somalia have affected our neighborhood and how the neighbors are reacting. There is something saying bad audio. I don't know which audio is coming from who. Is it from us? Otto in Denmark?
It was from my side, but I fixed it. Thank you, Otto.
Thank you very much from Denmark, my dear brother. Good afternoon, better now. Thank you very much for being a constant member of this clan called Punchline Africa TV. And we welcome you. We shall always give you a glory of keeping analysis as it is. Today we are lined up several topics, push and the pull of the Kenyan politics. We shall be looking at the question of the question of running mate. What is going on? Why are politicians in Kenya, especially from one place, becoming, developing cold feet? Mutua, Chivana, Musyoka. What is going on? What is making them pull out of and push in? We push, then pull. Push, then pull. Push, then retreat. What is going on? President Uhuru Kenyatta is not going for a campaign hitting the ground as he promised. What is also making him not to do so? Where is the problem? For us on this television, as usual, we are candid. We have no mercy. We don't take prisoners. We say as it is. But welcoming a new person, a panel on our in-house legacy, the person in charge of our legacy projects across Kenya, in Mount Kenya, is none other than Gladwell Kiragu. Gladwell, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Doc. Good afternoon to Miriam. Good afternoon to my brother, Wesonga. I'm privileged to be part of the panel this day, and also I want to wish all the women a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you very much, Gladwell Kiragu. Around Mount Kenya, somewhere, I don't know which place you are now. You might be in Ruai, you might be in Kiambu, or you might be already in Githunguri, you might be in Nyeri, you might be in Muranga, you might be in Nanyuki. You tell us where you are. How are people receiving the news that next week, on Saturday, we are going to start running on the motorway? Walai. How good is this to run on the motorway? I will take the car. I want to test the motorway alone, 80 miles per hour, non-stop. Are we not going to fall down here with our type of driving license? Miriam, back to you in the headquarters. And before we do that, Wesonga seems to be alive now. Good afternoon, Daniel Wesonga, investigative Colombo journalist. What have you got? Another land has been picked. Ruto evicts a widow, a name withheld. I'm talking with confidence. He has again done it. I've again done it. 50 acres. He sent in police Police were told to withdraw and never to go there. Now he sent in arrow boys. He sent in goons. The widow is in Nairobi seeking to see President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Voila, voila, voila. What a shame to a man who claims to be a deputy president, running around errands that is a deputy president, but grabbing land up to this hour. This hour, evicting people. And this is the crime that took him to ICC. What do you think of this guy, William Samoei Ruto? The Songa.
Yes.
Songa, can you tune your television or you tune your radio? Can you
Yes.
can you tame one of them?
Yes, Dr. Matsanga, thank you so much. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you clearly. What do you think of this guy grabbing another land and greet the people first of all, quickly?
Yes, a very good morning to you, Dr. Matsanga, at our political command center. Good morning, Miriam Okutu in our studio in Nairobi. Good morning to my sister Gladwell Kirago and our viewers here in Kenya, East Africa, and the rest of the globe who are tuning in this particular afternoon. It is my pleasure to be on the conversation this afternoon for the Africa Showdown.
I'm the only one in the good morning, and Miriam is in the good afternoon. I think Gladwell is in the gut. Where are you? Have you flown out of this country? Are you in America?
Around Nairobi, I believe. And sorry about that. You know, you are always on the move. So I believe wherever you are, it is morning.
I am in. Yes, good morning. You are right. Yes.
Yes. And here in Nairobi, it's afternoon. So good afternoon to Miriam Gladwell. I believe she's also in Nairobi, and our viewers here in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the globe. Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga.
What do you think about this new land grab that the deputy president went and chased a widow who has actually reported the matter at the DCI? And the matter is serious, that 50 acres in Eldoret, the woman is seeking protection. She has gone to police station for protection. Good afternoon. What do you think?
Yeah, Dr. Masanga, I believe that the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto, he has always portrayed himself as a man who follows the biblical teachings to the letter. And if we have to go by the teachings of the Bible, then we have to tell him that even in the same terms that Zacchaeus was told by Jesus Christ, that if you want to walk this journey of salvation, then you have to return everything that you have unlawfully taken from anyone, including, property and even money. And that is what Zacchaeus did. And he went further to give even 30% of the yields that he had gotten from that. So I don't know which kind of church goer is William Ruto when we have all these land grabbing scandals actually following him. There was a story way back about Mr. Adrian Muteshi, who lost almost 100 acres of land at the height of the post-election violence to him. We had the issue of the Murumbi farm in Narok, which belongs to the former Vice President Josephat Murumbi, which was also a center of controversy that the Deputy President had taken. We had also the ADC farm in Voi, which is also alleged that the Deputy President has a hand in it. And therefore, Dr. Matsanga, we have so many cases, those are just but a few. Even the grapevine has it that the processional way, which we saw the other week when President Mwai Kibaki was being given his final rights, that he had grabbed it prior to the coming to power of President Mwai Kibaki in 2002. William Ruto had the titles for that particular land, which is a public land where a road was to be constructed. So I think this is a man who has a very high affinity for land. And if we make a mistake of giving him the helm of leadership of this country, then we might even risk losing the country in particular and major airports and any open space that we have in this particular country.
Okay.
So
okay.
Masanga.
Yes, thank you very much, Wesonga, for that brief. But let's come back to Miriam, the topics that are shining. Gladwell, my dear sister, from where you are, the position you are in, what is going on? Gladwell, what is the situation wherever you are in Kiambu? What are the feelings of the people, the politics? What's going on?
Thank you so much, Doc. Today I'm privileged to be in Kiambu County and also in Juja. And the condition currently and the atmosphere, we interacted with the little people today, and these elections seems to be creating tension already. And more people are actually looking forward to it. At the same time, they're also confused if at all we'll have a stable election coming August. So their urge to the government is that some are wishing that they can postpone the election because we need a peaceful country.
You are talking, they are saying you wanted the election to be postponed.
Yes, they want the election postponed. By the look of things, it will be a chaotic election.
So people are already worried. I don't think that is the view of Miriam. Miriam, your position. Because your view is different. I know you about the election. Gladwell is saying they want, most people in the villages are saying, if this is the way the election is going to be conducted, they don't want it. What do you think?
Well, I think either way, the elections are still going to be conducted, even with all those challenges that already are cropping up. The challenges right now, and there's a possibility of challenges even after elections. But nevertheless, the elections will go on.
They will go on despite the fact that these elections, Miriam, they still have a lot of bottlenecks, which you have been outlining on from your studio. I want to ask you candidly. You said 6 months before the register is displayed, we have bottlenecks. Now they have told you that you will not register again until 2023. Now we have been told the governors, those who had started, paid their money for nomination and so on, or started campaigning. The impeached ones should not even appeal. Those governors are going to go to Supreme Court. They will go, they will go to, and once they are in it, you can't start anything once the court has not completed. There are still cases on the election, on the presidential, the two presidents, presidential candidates, outstanding candidates. Or Raila Odinga, there are cases there. Then we have cases on this other side of the other side of this other fifth, this other guy, the fifth. We have cases there, and he has cases of why should he stand 10 years, served 10 years. The Constitution of Kenya is silent about the deputy president, and it is also silent about the president. It is silent about the president being a deputy president of somebody. Did you not see that? The Constitution of Kenya, the president is not allowed to stand back or to become a president again. But the Constitution does not stop the president from coming back in another format. So we still have challenges. Miriam, have you seen those loopholes opening every time we talk about this Kenyan Constitution? Uhuru could come back in another form. And Ruto could be challenged. Why? He has served 10 years and he was doing the same work. And he has the same sense of tenure and insurance, which is telling us yesterday from Bungoma. He told us he's still a deputy president up to 8th. And he's campaigning using the same motor vehicles which his friends are not using. Is this an election? All is hip to you, Miriam. Is it an election?
Yeah, somebody, and I think there's a case in court to challenge that. The fact that he's using public resources to campaign and all that. I think Okia Mutata, among other issues that the deputy president has in court, and also Raila Odinga. But perhaps there's also a bigger issue that we're not talking about that I've seen being highlighted here on the paper today, and that is Raila and Ruto's party risk being locked out of elders polls because they have both the aspirants and the nominations which already took place, the primaries, they have not met the 2/3 gender rule, and this is a problem that we know clearly is spelled in our constitution. they have not met the 2/3 gender rule, and so they have not qualified to give in their nomination. So they have to go back and then get another list. I don't know how they're going to do that so that they're able to meet that threshold as it has been stated in our constitution. So that is also another headache they have to deal with.
I think, thank you very much, Miriam. Adding to what the catalog, can we call them a cocktail of disaster? It's becoming very clear. They have not even met 2/3 gender rule. Now, if you make only Uhuru, sorry, you make only Raila Odinga and William Ruto to meet the 2/3 gender rule, what about the deputy president and the independents? What do they do? Can somebody on this panel tell me, what does the independent candidate do? How does the independent candidate meet the 2/3 gender rule? Are you with me? How? If in case an independent candidate wins an election, how do you now disqualify Raila and disqualify Ruto? But now what about the independent candidates who are presidential candidates? And above all, Miriam, there is some saga in this Kenyan situation. The Kenyan situation constitution says once all of them, 10 or 20 out of 47, even if they are 30, all of them are cleared. In case one falls of malaria mosquito inamubite, inaingia kwa kichwa, anakufa. Sorry, God forbid, there will be no election for 3 months. Then we go for another 3 months, another one, another mosquito comes. I am not saying it's going to happen. So for me, as a political scientist, I'm suggesting the parliament should sit and say every presidential candidate and a deputy should bring health certificate examined by a doctor independent flown from somewhere else. Not the doctors in Nairobi hospital who can fake and say he's all right when he's not all right. We want independent doctors so that if you have cancer, you tell us that this cancer could bring a problem while I'm in 3 months. Because nothing in this next 3 months should happen to the people that the IEBC is going to select. I'm suggesting Matanga Fiore. If I'm not a Kenyan, I'm Paul preaching to the Jews. I'm simply suggesting, because that will cut down, then we know you have chosen Dr. Matanga, and he has got, you know, there are some people who are going to this race with certificates of terminal illness. Yes, terminal illness. Miriam, there is illness here, usual. COVID, yes. Yes. But there is terminal illness, which we want to know. Yeah. So for Kenyans to save time and to save all the energy, so that, you know, there is something that is striking me now. And let me say it. Can I say it and it comes out to the public? Miriam, a possibility of some candidate not being on the ballot could create a long hole of election in Kenya. This could be very historical. Yeah. First, we have 47 candidates. Out of these 47, you are not going to disqualify Wachikoya. Wachikoya seems to be the most favorite, and he has got all the energy because he smokes bangi. Yeah, he told us he smokes bangi. So I don't know how Christians are going to enter the ballot box. I don't know, but he smokes bangi. So, So he smokes Bangi Wesonga. This is the most serious thing that is shaking my brain. You know, Wachikoya is my friend from Camden graveyards. Yes, he used to dig graveyards. And then I removed him. I think that thing is still, the spirit has not been cleansed from his body and the blood. And I think I want to give him, you Kenyans, to give him more votes. I don't know why he smokes, but he's a very bright guy. But he smokes Bangi. In case he takes excessive Bangi on that day and knocks himself down, he might not be on the race. So what did you do? I'm sorry, Miriam, but these are sad news that could happen. So yes. Thank you very much. I leave it there, but as we say, Miriam, in the summary, there is a cocktail of disaster which has not been well lined up. And therefore, you have two speakers of parliament already, they have taken a position. Add that to the confusion we have in Kenya. Two speakers of parliament have taken a decision that they belong to one party. So how are you going to debate these debates on the ground to pass the laws so that within the 3 months we have an election on 9th of August? I think the people that are telling Gladwell in Kiambu and Juja and some other places, I think we shall do a survey. Gladwell, you are now entitled to do a survey and tell us more whether Kenyans want this election to be held or not. Back to you, Miriam and Wesonga, if you have something to say.
Wesonga, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, Dr. Masanga is always here to give very, very quintessential and insightful maybe pointers to the government of the day and the key stakeholders who are mandated to ensure that we run this country in the right direction and we have the policies and ideas that will enable us to have a free, fair and credible elections. And remember, in Africa, elections has been always been the source of our conflicts since we got our independence for various countries across Africa. And therefore, if we do not handle an election like the one we have in August in a very, very auspicious way, looking at all dynamics and looking at every maybe reasonable, potent, maybe thing that could actually lead us to violence or maybe a bungled election, then we should not we will not be doing our due diligence in delivering this particular election. And I agree with Dr. Masanga that in the first time in our history, we have more than 47 aspirants who are running as independent candidates in the forthcoming election. And as per the IEBC laws, which are captured in our constitution, should anything happen to any of the contestants, then the elections have to be postponed for a period of over 6 months. So I believe that is something that could easily bring a lacuna in our constitution. You know, in an event that such a thing happens, then we're going to be in a crisis. Another thing is the issue of the 2/3 gender rule, you know, and you've seen even parties like UDA now insisting on a 6-piece voting pattern, whereas they are not very keen on making sure that we are able to bring on the table the discussion about the gender, the gender bill, you know, which says that women should actually comprise more than 2/3 of any particular house of parliament. So I think this is something that could actually bring us trouble in the future. And if we are not able to accomplish it before we head to the polls in August, then that is another constitutional crisis loading. You remember the other time the former CJ Maraga wrote to President Uhuru Kenyatta telling him to dissolve parliament because they had failed to actually pass a bill or maybe bring to fore the 2/3 gender rule and make it a reality. So if we are again gonna go to the next parliament with the same problems that are ailing our constitution, remember our constitution is a hybrid constitution where we borrow some from the Commonwealth constitution, that is the UK constitution. We borrow some bit of it from the federal kind of leadership that we have in the US, and then we bring it together. And therefore, that is why we have all these lacunas in the constitution. So if we are not able to sit down and iron them in a very, very timely manner, then it means that, Miriam, we are facing at another crisis coming in the midst of a time when we are looking forward to be having our elections. So like Dr. Masanga says, all of these issues need to be done with a lot of carefulness, and we need actually to solve them. And if it is not possible, just like my sister Gladwell Krago is getting from the ground, then let not go for the election, because it will be doing zero work if you go to an election which maybe later on might be bungled, or maybe the courts of law might rule against the election because of a lot of illegalities from the process itself, from the certain maxims of the Constitution, and from the way even the political class conducted themselves. So I think it is a matter worth our attention, and let the key stakeholders actually put emphasis on it and be able to make a very, very wise decision. I don't know whether the timelines will allow, but that is all we need to ensure that happens. Let us check all the key pointers that Dr. Masanga has brought out. Let's also look at whatever even Gladwell Krago is talking about, because an election is a process, not a one-day event. If you are not going to look at the process and making sure we follow the Constitution, if we float any of those rules, then we might be very sure that this election too might be bungled the same way the 2017 presidential election was nullified by the Supreme Court. I submit you.
Right.
Thank you very much. If you want to join us, sorry, Miriam, if you want to join us across the continent, across the globe, wherever you are, please just join us on Zoom. 399-535-8320. That is, enter the Zoom, and the meeting code is 503. That's the passcode 503670. Come on, and the rest, we have topics lined for you. The push and the pull, that is for Kenya politics, plus the headlines. Then we have Somalia, another election, bungled. Is it bungled? What effects has it got on the region of Africa? The next topic, we have Nigeria has fallen to pieces, or it is falling like ice coming or rain coming from the clouds. Nigeria falling to pieces. The other topic is Zimbabwe. The sanctions are hurting the citizens. Are they hurtling towards an uprising, Miriam? Is Zimbabwe hurtling to an uprising? Those are good topics that will come on top of the hour. Back to you, Miriam, in the studio, and I give it you chance to bring another topic around the pull and the push. I hear, and I predicted before you come in. I predicted. I told you there is a Trojan horse in Kalonzo's. There's in Azimio a Trojan horse. Hasn't it come out clear? Senator Wambua of Wiper now threatens to withdraw from the panel of the eminent people who were chosen by Azimio to select a candidate. Didn't I tell you? Some people have baptized me. I told you, Mr. I told you. Yes, I told you. And I should take my credit instead of Kagwanja taking my credit, or Professor, another professor man here. What is he? The one who had the 16 million banked on his account. What is his name? Professor who? Professor Nguni. Yes, Mutahi Nguni. Yes. You can't have 15 million banked on your account without you knowing. Rubbish. Kwenda. You know, we have people here who cheat people. I don't want to discuss my friends, but it's very bad, surely. And then you say you are teaching morality. What morality are you teaching? You know, I have to take credit. I told you there is a Trojan horse. I do the politics. I am like a lawyer who sits at the desk, does all the groundwork, and then the barrister comes to present in court. Miriam, I am the cleric or the GP, diagnoses your stomach, then the surgeon comes to take over. Voila! Yeah. Well, thank you very much, but I told you there is a Trojan horse in Azimio. Now it is coming out to clear, isn't it? Shouldn't I take a credit, Miriam? And my people, when will I take a credit? Why should people use my work and they don't give me what I deserve? Hello? This is knowledge. I paid for it. Yes. I do it voluntarily. Yes. When you see me on this TV, I'm doing it voluntarily. I struggle to maintain this television. Then you come and insult me on my own television, which I maintain, I struggle to. It's painful. At times I feel like closing it. It's painful. Then you come and insult me. I do it to tell you information for free. I told you, Senator Wambua is a Trojan horse. Isn't he now? I told you, he has now already seen the results are not very good. I think inside there, the marking, medium, whatever they are using for marking, we don't know. And they have seen the thing has shifted towards him. For the candidate he doesn't want, he wants to pull out. So when he pulls out, first of all, Miriam was correct. I was correct. Everybody here on the panel was correct. We were opposed. And let me tell you, Matsanga, let me stand out to tell the truth. Your Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, listen to me. It was wrong to select a panel, select candidates. Sorry, I'm a political scientist. Period. If you challenge me, but that was wrong. We should have not selected a political panel. You should have sat down, with these people, yourselves, leaders of these parties, sit down, get one man, like this other thief is doing in the other one. You know, the other thief is doing his things quietly. And for us in this Azimio, we are not selecting panel for primary school or what? Which school is this where select what? This is politics. What is select panel for what? That was not called for. Hapo Mzee Raila tulianguka. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. And if you hate me because I've said that, go ahead. Angel Gabriel will save me. Isn't it, Wesonga? How long shall we keep quiet like this? Between I and Bayer, every time we are fighting fire. There is no fire we also send to people. Hi? Fire. We are fighting fire. We can't send fire to people. Mm-hmm. There was no need. Wesonga, you are coming. For me, let me say it, and they can kill me if they want. Yeah, you kill me. But let me say it. This man here, the man you see, you can hate me. I say it. Even if you bring 1 million bullets, I've survived many. I'll die. But let me tell you, it was very wrong for you people to sit, to say you are selecting a panel. Have you seen now? The panel is good. Once Wambua leaves, you know, we are going to kill we are giving our opponent the enemy who will get this thing by lack of us being disorganized. And the Kalonzo will vote out. He might not go understand anywhere because the time is past. But he will vote out and give support and maybe promised something across. We are in chaos. The leaders, His Excellency the President should have gone back to sleep, called the committee, called Raila, called Kalonzo, called Martha, called all the heads of parties, sit them down themselves without bringing in a panel. You have created a problem. Number two, on this party Azimio, there is no communication. Makau Mutua cannot communicate. If you are relying on Makau Mutua to convince Kenyans, you have sold us, we are going to be defeated. What can you say, Yawazi? We are in chaos. Yes, because you are winning. If I am independent, Wesonga, I don't vote. If I don't say it, I am independent. If I don't say it, who else is going to say it? If a party member said watamufinya, mimi utanifinya, mimi sipigi kura. Sindio, Miriam sipigi kura, mimi nasema wazi,
You are
nasema
friend
yes.
of the president, and you wish well the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And
Exactly.
I believe
I wish Honorable Raila Odinga to win election so that Matsanga I can continue to be in East Africa. If Ruto wins the election, he wants to kill me. He has sent me messages. He wants to kill me. I don't know when he will kill me, but where, I don't know. So I have to be very frank. Niambie watu wajue, dunia ijue. The threats I get every day, zinatoka wapi? But I'm doing it for the good of this country called Kenya. I've come from a background of conflict, where I've seen you have 10 cars and you remain with 0 car, and you remain with a vest and the shoes and the platform and the underwear. Who of these people has gone through that? Who are telling lies that things are okay? You go on surviving on lies and brokerage. Lies and brokerage everywhere. Lies. You tell lies. Why do we tell lies? Things are not okay here. Makau Mutua is not communicating. Now we create a panel. You see, the Senator of Kitui has never liked Uhuru. He has never liked anything that Uhuru touches. From the time of 2011, the Senator of Kitui has been writing for Uhuru to be hammered, to be sentenced to life imprisonment in the ICC. Then mnamuleta hapa mnafikiri, nyinyi you people, what are you doing surely? Trace his record from Daily Monitor, from Daily Nation today to the Standard. Trace his record and see what he was doing. I have an article which put me in the hands of Ocampo. It was written by Wambua. Wambua wrote an article. Then it sparked the ICC to come for me, that I had interfered with witnesses. Now today you put him on a panel. He doesn't like Uhuru. He goes at night to speak to Ruto. They promised them huge money if Kalonzo can cross. Jameni. Mwambie president the truth. Finished. If the president hates me for speaking the truth, he's my friend, I will say I'm sorry and I go home. I will not like a place where to go. Thank you.
Daniel, even as you come in, we've seen the recent, even yesterday, I think there was a problem, speaking of Wiper, yesterday in Mombasa, where the party cancelled its planned rally at Mombasa Historic Tononoka grounds after it failed to secure a permit from the county government. The party was forced to continue with its roadside rallies in different streets of Mombasa to drum up support for its aspirant former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko to succeed incumbent Governor Hassan Joho. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka expressed disappointment with how the county government is frustrating other Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition partners, noting Mr. Sonko and other party leaders will transform the county once they take over leadership after August 9th election. So also we see another tug of war there, push and pull in politics. But before you come in and comment on that, as much as I sympathize and I understand Kalonzo's position where he does not want to be interviewed and he feels that he's entitled perhaps to this position as the deputy president for the Azimio coalition, but also Azimio coalition, Azimio One Kenya coalition is made up of 20 over 20 parties. So for Wiper to keep insisting that Azimio One Kenya coalition should be a three-legged, coalition of Jubilee, ODM, and One Kenya Alliance, and yet these other parties were part of Azimio before even Wiper came. Is this fair, and is Wiper being selfish of not considering other parties of other partners that are part of Azimio that should be considered, even for those who want to submit their name during this process?
Thank you so much, Miriam. And I remember, was it in 2019? There was a story Dr. Matsanga wrote about how the city of Troy was actually how the city of Troy fell. And during that particular battle, the city of Troy, through its king, was given a gift, and this gift was in terms of a horse, made in an image of a horse. What the city of Troy did not know, that inside that particular horse, there was some soldiers of the enemy who were unable to actually access the city. And once they were able to be given as a gift inside the horse, and they got into the city, they were able to destroy the city from within, because they now gained access into the city in the middle of the city. I think it was in 2019 thereabout, but I'm not quite clear about the dates. But Dr. Masanga shared that particular story, and that is how actually the city of Troy fell. And when today Dr. Masanga comes to tell us about Kalonzo being a Trojan horse in Azimio, I agree with him in every sentiment, because you've seen whatever Senator Wambua has been doing. You've seen whichever battlefront that he has been opening, even in Azimio itself. Yes, Kalonzo Musyoka, when you apply whatever Dr. Masanga, the term, the political probative value of Ukambani region, Kalonzo Musyoka merits be amongst all the candidates that should actually be accorded the vice president, the running mate for Raila Odinga. And actually he deserves, because 1, he has the numbers, 2, he has worked with Raila before, and 3, he's actually a mature statesman in his own stature, and he has been a vice president before. But all these quibbles, all these disagreements and push and pull in Azimio la Umoja coming from Wiper Party does not do the coalition any good. And if anything is to go by, I totally agree with Dr. Masanga that whatever is happening in Azimio, courtesy of the quarrels that are happening from the Wiper side of the Azimio, could give the opponents, our opponents, an easier time of actually riding on the negative perception and being able to actually poke holes in the candidature of our presidential candidate. And at the end of the day, these might have a very, very big implication in terms of setbacks in the candidature of Azimio One Kenya presidential ticket. And therefore, there's need to be able to evaluate this particular scenario. We need to sit down. We need actually to have all these leaders coming on board. And I believe maybe those close to Kalonzo Musyoka should advise him to desist maybe from taking advice from the likes of Senator Enoch Wambua of Kitui, because these are people who are well known to have personal vendetta with His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they could actually be double agents in that they are in Azimio la Umoja at night, during the day, and at night they're actually in Karen. We saw that even during the passing of the revenue allocation bill, where we had some few senators from Wiper, from ODM, and others from ANC actually working at the behest of the deputy president to shoot down that particular bill. But thank God it was able to go through. But would it have not been for Right Honorable Raila Odinga and President Uhuru Kenyatta marshalling up their numbers and actually putting up a very, very vibrant fight against them in the House of Senate and National Assembly, then it would have been a different story. So we have to be very, very privy and alive to the fact that we have people who are in Azimio One Kenya Alliance who do not mean well for the coalition, who have other ulterior motives, sinister motives, to be able to sabotage this cause from within. And like Dr. Masanga says, this is a Trojan horse, and he saw it even before many of these so-called experts who run to our TV stations, who pretend to give analysis, could actually be able to see them. You remember even during the Kenya-Somali maritime border dispute, you saw Dr. Masanga coming out very early to talk about pivotal points that could actually be able to tilt the verdict at ICJ. You saw him coming out, talking about the same matters even during the ICC days. And just like maybe the Reverend Al Sharpton of US, Dr. Masanga comes out in mostly African political affairs to talk about and to actually bring to the public limelight those things that many other people would be scared to speak about. And that is the truth. And even in the Bible, we are told, say the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You do not have to mind whether the people will hate you. You do not have to mind even when people will insult you. And we've seen that happening, Miriam. You go to Dr. Masanga's timeline on social media pages, and they are there, spewing all kind of venom and trivialities. But one thing is for sure, Miriam, we need to talk and walk this journey based on truth. And the truth is we have a Trojan horse in Azimio, and unless that is sorted out and we are able to walk this journey in unison, we might have an impediment on our campaigns and ultimately on the presidential ticket. Remember, two cannot work together unless they agree. When was the last time you saw this Azimio One Kenya party presidential hopeful and even maybe the Wiper part of the coalition campaigning together? Not very soon, Miriam. And whatever was happening actually yesterday, going to Mombasa to campaign differently is part of what is pulling the coalition more apart. Just trying to drive a perception that we are not quite together. We can do our things independently, even though we are under the same roof. But to me, I think it is an action of coercion. It is an action that actually wedges adrift within the coalition. And I think, for me, if you are to ask me, even the planned meeting at Tononoka, it would have been great if His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and his team would have invited the other Azimio La Umoja luminaries to be able to campaign together with them. If they are going to Mombasa, why not invite Governor Ali Hassan Joho? Why not invite even Abdul Samad and other leaders who are in Mombasa, who are in Azimio? Why not even invite leaders from Jubilee? So I think, at the end of the day, we might have a divided team, and this is because of this push and pull that is happening in our politics today, Miriam. So I agree with Dr. Matsanga that we do have a Trojan horse, and if we do not address it as early as now, then we might have a very, very big implication on our own detriment, and it will really, really cost our presidency. So I think that is the truth of the matter, and it should be checked upon by the leaders of the coalition. We should not actually leave such matters to the likes of Makau Mutua. We should not leave such matters to the likes of Junet. We should not leave such matters to the likes of Senator Enoch Wambua. Let the leaders of the coalition themselves come together and be able to iron out any contentious issues and be able to deliver a very, very vibrant team that will be able to sojourn and be able to deliver the presidential ticket and the presidential victory to the people of the Republic of Kenya, whose majority support the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance. I submit.
Thank you. Gladwell, your thoughts on that subject before we move on to another topic?
Kiragu.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, I actually agree to what my brother Wesonga has said. And just a little highlight on it. I think what is actually affecting the Wiper and the Azimio actually, and also the Wiper party, I think it is the advisors, because the people who are also advising Kalonzo are also misleading him. And as Wesonga has said, what Wesonga has said is, what you will now use. It's what is happening in Azimio and what will happen in Wiper. And, I think Wesonga time he gave an example of when we have a white part and a dot is painted into it, we all focus on the dot and we forget the bigger picture, the white part. And that is what will actually happen in Azimio, because what we can see, the fire that was in Azimio, it's actually slowly, the candle is actually fading off. We need the morale that was there. We need the hype that was there. We are only 2 months left, and those are very few days left for the coming election. But what is happening? We go with confusion. We can see people getting apart, people not coming to terms together. And actually, we need to see a good leading opposition. We need to see a good leading position. Actually, the best thing with Azimio is that the president is also part of it. So that is the Jubilee and the Azimio. So what we need to see in Azimio, can the fire that was there, can the candle that was already lit off, can it come back? Because we're only a few days left, and the way they are wavering, it's actually a clear indication that the other part, the UDA, will actually win on more, so use some of these things to affect the Azimio and the Wiper. Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that, or we just move on to other matters? Okay, so we almost...
Miriam, thank you very much. I just wanted to add one word. I'm sorry for that. I had another call coming in. I just want to add one word. There is something which we call in political science timing. The timing and the time is running out for the timing. Have we picked it very nicely? The timing and the time is running out in the timing. If you don't plan now and the time properly, we shall be lost. Unless something else, which I don't know. Because right now, the spokesman of Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, what is his name? Dennis Osangari, is it? Osingiri, you know him? Osarigo, my friend, the younger man, Dennis Osarigo, has just issued a statement on Twitter and said they will work with those who are willing to work with them. There you are. It is here. You can go on his tweet, verified. He says, and I think I don't blame them anymore, because the Trojan horse is there. We have hit a wall because people did not listen. Miriam, you and I on this panel were very opposed to this question of a panel on this television. We said it. When they selected that television, I stood up and I said, this is not very good in politics. We are going as if we are choosing a chief justice. Political science, you don't choose a chief, you don't chief. Surely, there is no party in the world that I've seen a panel sitting only publicly calling people who can be scrutinized that Wekesa, his alliance is with Raila Odinga. That the Bishop Njoya, the alliance is going to be, because the way we are beaten in my Kenya days, the provost, my provost of All Saints Church, everybody knows where his alliance is, isn't it? Jamen, sasa munambie, this was set to fail. So it is a very archaic way, even when choosing the Pope. Have you ever heard of the panel that chooses the Pope? What is it called? Any of you on the panel who can tell me? A song usually you say you are an expert around there. Can you tell me? Has the Pope, the Vatican ever published the panel? Eh? Have you ever heard of the expert that there is a panel of prominent people? They tell you they have gone in, let's wait for the white smoke. Isn't it? And when they come out, have you ever seen any bishop resigning? Have you seen any bishop resigning? Tell me any bishop of the Anglican, of the Catholic Church who has resigned because the smoke that came out doesn't favor him. We should have done that way. This panel, this thing, these results are going to divide Azimio. So we should have known when to do it and when not to do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And before we move on to, I see it's top of the hour, perhaps one of the stories that we read on the headlines, which I think is something that Gladwell has been having a problem with, and that is the lack of President Uhuru Kenyatta's presence in Mount Kenya region and him joining in the campaign team of Azimio Coalition. Now, the delay in the naming of a running mate for ODM leader Raila Odinga and incomplete projects in his Mount Kenya backyard are some of the reasons why President Uhuru Kenyatta is yet to officially begin campaigns for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party. This is according to President Kenyatta's strategists and allies, who also argue that another factor holding the head of state back from taking Azimio campaigns to Central personally is the ongoing rejuvenation of the Jubilee Party. The president was expected to hit the ground running and begin campaigning for Mr. Odinga, especially in his Mount Kenya backyard, immediately after the Sagana 3 meeting, where the head of state lashed out at his deputy William Ruto and endorsed Mr. Raila Odinga's candidature for the August elections. So a couple of issues there that they're saying, according to this story, could be holding back President Uhuru Kenyatta's full campaign, for Azimio candidate Raila Odinga. Gladwell, because you've been having a problem with this matter. The reasons that have been given there, are they satisfactory?
Miriam, I actually don't think they're satisfactory, to be honest, because, as I said earlier, Raila has been actually supporting Uhuru publicly. But now but now we can see that the president has got his own reasons as to why he's not yet to start campaigning. But let me ask Miriam, how many months are we left? We only have 2 months left. So does that mean because of the reasons he has given that he'll start campaigning for Raila the last day? And that's the problem we are having. That's why Raila can't be able to actually come to the mountain and sell his agendas, because the first person who is supposed to be leading him is also absent in it. And yesterday I was listening to some people, and they were saying, actually from Mount Kenya, they support Raila, yes, but now they have an issue, and they would wish the president now comes out and be neutral. Let him support neither of the two, because at the end of it all, and the way we are seeing that Azimio is kind of wavering, what if happens? I'm giving an example. What happens what if Azimio is defeated? I'm just giving an example, something I know would happen. The president will be backlashed. That is what will happen. He will be called names because from the word go, he has been saying Azimio and Jubilee are together. And now that is when we need the president. He needs to come out clean. He needs to now stand. Only 2 months left. And these 2 months are within just him coming out and saying 1, 2, 3 to the people of Mount Kenya. Within those 2 months, Miriam, it can work miracles. It can do wonders. But now him coming out with some of these excuses. My question to him now, so when will he come out clearly and say that now, you people from Mount Kenya, I choose 1, 2, 3. And when he's coming to us, he just can't come say that you people, I want you to support Raila. No, he has to come and first explain why he went against his deputy president, why he's so much against him, and why he would wish us people to support Raila. So I don't think that's a thing that can take a day or two. No, for him to convince the people. After all, we can see William Samoei Ruto has already come to the mountain himself, and actually the people are so much and opposed with him. He has damaged these people's minds. Everybody singing of Ruto in the Mount Kenya. So the president also has a task, and he has got akona kibarua, akona kazi ngumu ya kufanya to convince the Mount Kenya people that now I did 1, 2, 3 and we need to support Raila. So can he stop with these excuses, and can he act as a president?
Mm-hmm. All right, Daniel, the delay of naming the running mate, and the ongoing rejuvenation of the Jubilee Party, and some of the incomplete projects in Mount Kenya backyard is just some of the reasons why President Uhuru Kenyatta has not started campaigning for the Azimio One Kenya coalition candidate Raila Odinga. What do you make of this?
Miriam, I have a different opinion from that of Gladwell. And can I say it?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is a human being. And the President Uhuru Kenyatta has done very well so far. And we have no regrets. Whether the people now start complaining or backlash, let it come. But the backlash is the time when he leaves. Even Mount Kenya cannot complain, because almost every part of Mount Kenya that was impossible is possible. Yes. The tea farmers are happy. The cotton farmers are happy. The prospects are high. The railway goes to Nyanyuki. So many roads are tarmacked. Surely, if you are to blame, you can't blame. Because even Jesus, after feeding 5,000 people over at the port of Capernaum, was never liked, until some people plotted to crucify him. Yes, ukweli Kiragu, my sister Gladwell Kiragu, ukweli same way. There are some areas of this country where even a road is just beginning to pass there. It might not be complete, but most of the places in the mountain, things have been completed. There is a legacy. So the president has left a legacy, some legacy there. He could not do everything because he has explained to you that the second term was disrupted by politics. The pull and the push, the pull and the push, the push and the pull. We push forward, we pull back. We push forward, we pull back. That is why I brought this topic. And it's good, it has a divergent view. And you are the one on the ground of the legacy. And the people are saying it that, okay, support who now? He has already declared the Jubilee Party is in marriage with Azimio. And for me, Dr. Matsanga, my view is that Mount Kenya has potholes of insanity. Political potholes of insanity. So if I were a candidate in 2022 election, August, mark the word, political insanity, poisoned, a poisoned place. William, it is poison. You have a Speaker of National Assembly, J.B. Muturi, who worked as a PA of Kenyatta, goes to criticize Kenyatta that we are fed up with the slavery mentality. Did you hear what the Speaker said yesterday? Wasn't Kenyatta the one who removed this guy when he was drinking changa in Sakiago, in Embu? He was drinking changa, he was gone, he was urinating in his trousers. Yes, yes, yes. I'm like, God, Poli. Wacha niseme itoke. Utanifanya nini wewe JB? Wachana wewe. Ulikuwa unakunywa pombe paka I don't want to use the words that I don't know in Swahili. Wacha niachie hapo. You were brought. You were given a job by Kenyatta. You are insulting Kenyatta now. Wewe. Wacha. Nyenye akia Mungu hapana, wacha. You cannot insult Kenyatta every day because he cannot speak. He's a president. He can't say. If he says his words will be misunderstood. Lakini sisi wengine wanafiki ya Kenyatta, we shall also tell you. Wewe ulikuwa unafanya nini? Unikunywa pombe huko, ulikuwa unaelewa from morning up to evening that the Speaker of National Assembly. Where will you get it without Kenyatta? Wacha wewe. Wacha. Kwenda. Let's move to another topic.
Daniel.
Let me tell you, Miriam. Wacha hii mfungue hii. Fungua campaign. Utaona. Watatusha matushi na sisi tutatusha. You cannot insult Kenyatta and say, Kenyatta, slave mentality, slave. So was he a slave when he was working with Kenyatta? He was a PA of President Kenyatta. Was he a slave? You naona, Miriam, when you are helping people, you people, younger people, you are growing. Me, I'm 67 going home. God might call me. When you are helping people, I want to give you advice. And those watching me, leave space for your children. That's all I can tell you. That's all. Miriam, you have children, your child. Songa, you have a child. Nani, you have, whoever is watching who has, leave some space for your children. All these people you help, none of them wants to see you, Miriam. Even if you remove that dress or the trousers and give to a relative, this is the same relative who will arrange thieves to come to kill you. So that he takes the next dress, which was in the wardrobe. Please, one lesson I've learned while on earth, this is a Sunday. I am not Zakayo. Zakayo of Kenya is well known, who grabs everything, including widow's land, 50 acres. Okay, the case is very clear. I have the number of the lady. She's under police protection. I can even give you any journalist who wants to find out the story, come to me. The woman is under police guarded because the deputy president wants to kill her. He has taken the land, 50 acres in Eldoret, where she has lived 57 years. No sale agreement, nothing. He only sent in people to take the land, demolish her buildings. It's not malice. So for me, let me tell you, when you are doing these things, Miriam, when you are helping people, wachia mtoto wako kitu. Human beings are very bad. Look at what J.B. Muturi has done to Uhuru Kenyatta family. What do you think the family, when he watches some people like that, what does the family think about? They built houses out of Kenyatta. What do you think Mama Ngina looks at Rigathi? When Rigathi is insulting Kenyatta, how do you feel how does she feel as a mother? Look at that. Look at those things. This is a man, you built an empire because of him. And then you go around and say because you want leadership, you have gone in concert with a thief. Bado, guys. Let's move on to the next topics.
All right, and that marks the end of Kenyan discussions, and now we shall look at the rest and the other topics from across the continent of Africa. 3:15 p.m. here in Nairobi, East African time. A very good afternoon to you, or good morning or evening, depending on where you are tuned in. And Somalia, the election nightmare. The Somali parliament announced on Thursday that the long-awaited presidential election will finally take place in 1943 by 13 young activists who spearheaded the struggle for united and independent Somalia in the 1940s and 1950s. The committee said the presidential candidates will address parliament on May 11th and 12th on their policies ahead of the vote. The presidential election, which is 15 months behind schedule, comes after Somalia concluded parliamentary elections in April. So it appears Somalia seems to be getting its house in order. Should we be hopeful that things will go well in the upcoming elections that have been slated now for the 15th of this month?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Miriam. You know why I'm laughing? We have come from one sad story to a very interesting story of Somalia. I am one of the few people who has been a critic of President Farmajo, and I just want to predict that President Farmajo will be defeated on that day if the vote has no rigging. There might be no rigging because there are so many. They have tightened all the loopholes. My candidate among those candidates is Sharif Ahmed Sharif. Can I say why? Sharif Ahmed Sharif is the only person in the history of Somalia after 1991 who brought some sanity to Somalia. Can I explain why? The Islamic Court is the only organization, the only government that brought sanity in Somalia. And Sharif Ahmed Sharif, the Islamic Court. Somalia stabilized for some time before it fell back again to chaos. But had we left the Islamic Court to stabilize Somalia without external forces coming in, I'm being honest with history, because one of the things that Matsanga does, I collect history. I was in Mogadishu with ITN News, Lindsay. We went to Mogadishu to interview Sharif Ahmed Sharif, the ITV News. Those clips are available. I was one of the people who worked away to fly into Mogadishu. We thought we could not return those days when the Islamic courts were available in Mogadishu. We returned very safely through Nairobi and we went home to London. We interviewed Mr. Sharif Ahmed Sharif. The man is a very good person. He's not highly recognized, educated like Mr. Farimajo, who claims to be educated, but very ignorant. You know, there is education and there is stupidity and ignorance. Farimajo has the worst ignorance of a person that you can give leadership again. So for me, my candidate, and whom I pray for, is Sharif Ahmed Sharif. May God help him to have a nice debate. If you bring him with Farimajo, if they are talking Somali, he will defeat Farimajo in debate. He has the charisma, he has the commandership, he has the credentials needed to lead, stabilize Somalia, so that Somalia can see outside people who have come to help as partners, not as enemies. So my candidate is Sharif Ahmed Sharif. God bless you, inshallah. Inshallah. Let's hope that on the 15th, the delegates of negotiated democracy, the pastoral democracy of negotiation of tribes, let's negotiate. Democracy of dialogue, democracy that is tampered with religion, language, ethnicity. That type of democracy is what we are producing in Somalia. They will score the first one this year on the 15th of April. Miriam, for us, we are still struggling with a long ballot paper, which is like a blanket. A Kenyan ballot paper will be like a blanket and a shuka. If there are 47 presidential candidates, Gladwell has been looking for a shuka. You know, Gladwell, what do you call a bed sheet in your language?
I think it's still like mashuka.
So, our ballot paper in Kenya itakuwa shuka to tick 47. That's it. Me and the Wesonga, the same language. We speak the same. So, Somalia in a nutshell. Thank you. We wouldn't like to take much time. My candidate is Sharif Ahmed Sharif. I wish him good luck. And I hope by the time the end of the day, you should have scored more marks than Farimajo, who is a puppet, who has never even renounced the the American independence certificate and American passport. So, and who wants war with Kenya? He wants war with Kenya. He wants war with everybody. He wants to take the Indian Ocean and control it when God gave it to all of us Africans. I think people should not vote for Farimajo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. These elections in Somalia, 15 months behind schedule. They are expected to take place last year in February, but due to unavoidable circumstances, which I think from the conversations we've been having, some people are not keen on having these elections happen. So these circumstances, sometimes you could think they are created, but there seems to be, Somalia they went through the other elections to elect the lawmakers. There are 329, 275 in the upper house and 54 from the Senate. And now these lawmakers are the ones who are going to select the president from the candidates that have lined up themselves. Somalia, they don't really go to vote like we do, and the rest of other democracies, theirs is a selection. So that is what will be taking place. These 329 lawmakers will select the next president there in Somalia. Finally, can we bank some our hope in these elections that is slated for the 15th of May, or are we likely to see other chaos like we've seen has been playing up and has been playing around and towards elections that have made it being postponed so many times before? Can we be hopeful on this one this time round? Daniel.
Just like any other African tyrant.
Okay, we seem to be having a problem with your connection, so perhaps Daniel, yeah, we're having a problem with this connection. Gladwell, can you say something on that, and then maybe we can just move on to the next topic if Daniel's connection.
Personally, Miriam, I think Doc has said what I wanted to say. And I'm actually happy that he's also supporting the person. I'm also supporting and praise.
Hear me now?
We apologize for that mix-up. Yes, thank you, Gladwell. Yeah, Daniel, go ahead. Okay, I think we've suffered quite a bit of a technical hitch from Daniel's side. So Dr. Matanga has touched a lot on that matter. So I'd just like us to move on to another topic, and Nigeria, is it falling to pieces? The latest news from Nigeria is that Nigerian airlines suspend flights over soaring jet fuel prices. The airlines operators of Nigeria say price of jet fuel jumped from 190 to 700 Nigerian naira per liter in the wake of the Ukrainian war. And so the Nigerian airlines are to suspend all domestic flights from Monday over a fourfold increase in the jet fuel prices, an umbrella organization of operators said on Thursday. The airline operators of Nigeria say the prices of jet fuel, as I've explained there earlier, have really skyrocketed, and the cost of fuel has soared worldwide since Russia invaded its western neighbor in Ukraine. So from tomorrow, there will be no local flights in Nigeria. All flights in Nigeria will be halted. I don't know, in this world that you're living in today, and transportation is a very key thing as far as running the economy and movement of people and goods is concerned, and the airlines is one of them. So I can't imagine a situation where all flights here in Kenya I can't go to where I want to go because they're not available. What will that do to an economy like Nigeria that is already reeling from other factors that has to do with insecurities and other things? And now you have the transportation sector being affected by the high prices of fuel. Not to mention, just a couple of weeks ago, the European Union, signed, I think, a deal with Nigeria, where Nigeria is expected to be supplying them with about 40% of its gas. So if you can't satisfy the demand at home, how is that even possible that you're going to satisfy the demand outside of Nigeria? It's interesting, but Doc, you could start us off with this conversation as well.
Miriam, this is the sad story of Africa. This is the sad story of Africa. The Africa that I've been telling you has been bewitched. The tragedy of Africa is that of Nigeria. The falling of pieces. It is falling to pieces. Tell me, Miriam, Nigeria produces crude oil. Have you not seen that? It produces crude oil. But the queues in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Ibadan, Onitsha, look, Kano, Maiduguri, all these areas, the queues worry you. A country that produces a third oil OPEC producer. has no fuel. Surely, it says it has grounded all internal domestic airlines.
From tomorrow.
And Nigeria, from tomorrow.
Yes.
Nigeria's economy depends on air transport because there are no roads. That's why you saw sometime in 1980s and 70s and 80s, so many planes in Nigeria had too many accidents on African continent because people even load animals, cows, live ones. So when the animal changes itself and the plane is in the air, the animal says, oh, the plane goes down. We had that. So Nigeria's economy depends on air transport because of the hugeness of the territory, how big it is. But to tell you a bad story, a tragedy story of Nigeria is, as these things happen, the president of Nigeria seemed to be a ghost, missing. All these things. And you know, as usual, the entire Nigeria is fixed on 2023. I think the Ruto syndrome has caught up with Nigerians. Ruto started his campaign in 2018. So Nigerians are not even bothered about even a plane having no fuel. They are bothered about leadership of 2023. Who is going to lead? Where? Who's to do? So for me, actually, in the name of God, I have never had good words for Nigeria until Buhari leaves. And I pray that I see him leave, then I can go to Nigeria with the new government that will be there. Because first, Nigeria, Buhari has destroyed Nigeria. Buhari has killed Nigeria. Buhari has dismembered Nigeria. He has never, even the army generals who were there before, did very well to maintain a Nigeria semblance. He killed, Buhari opened up Nigeria for dismemberment. It is gone. You have seen the way they are forming their parties. The northern people are saying you cannot stop us from coming. The southerners are saying we also want the presidency. That is the beginning of a war. The war that took place, a repeat of 1967 war. And 66 war between Ojukwu and Gowon. Things started like that, where the northerners felt that, the southerners felt that enough is enough. You have been dominating our politics. You bring nothing on the table. You come and take the oil. You take the money from the oil contracts. You leave us with poor housing, poor health sector, poor medical sector, poor schools, poor roads, poor administration, and corruption in the south on our resources. The north, what does Madiguri give you? What can Kano give you? The state where my friend, this guy Buhari comes, what does it give to Nigeria? Only army generals. It produces soldiers. The British system created that every northern part of their colony produces army generals. I can look at Uganda. Look at Uganda. What was northern Uganda producing to us? Only generals. General Idi Amin, General Okero, General Basilio Okero, General Rabi, General Rabi, General Rabi. You know, look at it. It went up to Sudan. We have General Riakamacha, General who, Madik Okok, that very many generals. You see how the British operated in their territories, William. Have you not seen that? Every country, you go to Ghana, the people who came down to overthrow government came from the north. In most of the British territories. Yes. Most of the British territories came from, look everywhere. Where they went, they create the northern parts as if you see they came to Uganda and they found us Kabaka Chwa, Kabaka Mwanga, Kabaka Suna. You know people who think we don't know. I don't. Kabaka Suna, Mwanga, Chwa. All of them, the Kabaregas, they had already taught us how to read and write. The Uganda had known my place was a place of of where they got what we call indirect rule. They sent Kakungulu to teach us how to dig latrines and plant trees, environment. You see? So the British did not touch us. For us, they told us, you go to school, to Makerere University, and read to good schools, Budo, Mali, Ntare, all this King Mwiri College in Jinja, Sir Samuel Baker, go to those good schools. While they went to the north and said, we want you to go and carry luggage. In East African railways. Hello? And then go to the army. So by the time of independence, we found more northern Ugandans, my rural community, were in the prisons, in the police, in the general service unit, in the army. That's why you saw the emergence of General Idi Amin, a cook, who ended up cooking people's tongues for food on his table. It went all to Alimadi. I'm teaching history here because some younger men don't know. Alimadi Rebellion. The Alimadi Rebellion. You look at the family they created, the Alimadi. Isn't it the Alimadi that produced the prime minister who was overthrown by General Nimeri and others? General Lagu. Where do they come from? Look at them. They created the whole of that zone up to equatorial zone, equatorial province of South Sudan, where there is now war. Eastern equatorial and western equatorial, central equatorial, that going all the way, General Riakamacha. No, not General Riakamacha, General Garang. Across towards Nimure and the other town, Yei, in Yei. You see, all that history, the British created, and in Nigeria they did the same. And several of their territories across, in Ghana the same, Nigeria the same. Look at them. Unlike the French, their policy, the northern parts were ignored. They only wanted, you cannot see that the southern part, Lagos, and the Port Harcourt, Port Tema, Accra. Have you seen Miriam? Mombasa here was more, people liked Mombasa. The only thing that saved us, like Ugandans, is that good weather that Sir Winston Churchill said there is something up there. When he had come to Mombasa and they have seen that there is a way to take away things in Mombasa, they developed the port of Mombasa. But Sir Winston Churchill said there is something up there on the hills as you climb. A country where the temperature is 70 degrees throughout the year. It rains, it is still 70. It shines, it's still around there. And it is called the Pearl of Africa. That's the Uganda. That is why we were lucky. This Karere, what was it going to collect with a song? Copper. When he reached Kampala, Kisumu, he said no. In fact, you see, Kisumu was developed as a result of the British arrangement. They thought they had reached Uganda. When they reached Port Florence, when you ask these Rutos shouting hooligans on Twitter, Gladwell, they only insult you. But they don't know the name, the former name of Kisumu City, Port Florence. You know, they didn't want to call it Kisumu. They called it Port Florence because we have reached Uganda. They thought it was Uganda. Then they said, no. This is we went in a wrong direction. Miriam, this was an argument. We have gone in a wrong direction. This place, we need a boat. It is similar to Mombasa. We need now a boat to go to cross to reach that part of Africa. Then they came back to Nakuru and they decided. They came back to Eldoret or Nakuru or somewhere there. Timborwa or someplace. They said, no. We must go this side. Now there is this road that will lead us to another place in Malaba. And we keep between the lake and the mountain. Don't go near too much the mountain, but don't go near too much the lake. Leave the lake. That middle piece is where you reach the country called Uganda. That's how they built Uganda. If that is how they built Nigeria, look at the railway in Nigeria where it stops. Look at the railway in Ghana where it stops. This information is for free, Miriam. I'm giving it for free. Otherwise, if I do for care unit, I submit.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody who has anything else to add on that topic? Gladwell?
No. Doctor has actually taken us to a good class session.
Okay. Daniel, I know you're having a bit of trouble with your connection.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miriam. And I think also maybe I'll choose not to add anything on what Dr. Masanga has already said, because I'll literally be diluting whatever he has already talked about. But all I can say for Somalia, I believe the people of Somalia will finally be emancipated from the rogue leadership of Mohamed Farmajo, who governs the country with impunity, living within the confines of Villa Somalia and the posh estates in Nairobi. Also on Nigeria, I don't think I have anything to add on that. I think that Dr. Masanga has actually been able to wrap it up for us. So I won't add any letter, full stop or comma on whatever he's talked about.
Okay, and with that, we go to our third and final topic on Africa, and of course the final topic on today's show, and that is the sanctions in Zimbabwe and how they're hurting the people there, the common people in Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe has been under EU targeted sanctions since 2002 after Robert Mugabe won a controversial presidential poll. And the European Union earlier in February this year renewed its 2 decades-old sanctions against Zimbabwe, citing continued human rights violations and closure of the democratic space. Zimbabwe, as I said, there has been under EU targeted sanctions since 2002. And after Mr. Mugabe was toppled in a military coup in 2017, his successor, President Emerson Mnangagwa, pushed for normalization of ties with the bloc, but this has not yet bore any fruit. And we've seen even the African Union and SADC add their voice into the push to lift these sanctions against Zimbabwe, but that has not bore any fruits yet. So, Doc, again, take us through the topic.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I'm very much obliged for the opportunity to give you the insight, a short, precise insight. Sanctions in third world countries don't kill the leaders, they kill the citizens. Any type of sanctions, whether targeted or overall economic sanctions, they kill the people, the citizens, the masses. But the sanctions that are targeted, why are they targeted? It's to overthrow governments. The government of Mugabe was not overthrown through sanctions. It was overthrown by internal rebellion and the internal stubbornness of Mugabe himself refusing to put a provisional situation where you can have a leader. So sanctions kill the natives. Sanctions kill the citizens. The sanctions that the US has put on Zimbabwe, that even the diamonds that you produce, you cannot sell them, is very bad. That if they should have allowed them, okay, if they don't want people to travel to US, allow them to sell their diamonds. Point number 3 is these sanctions And with the current situation, Miriam, which you have seen, where they say the leaders are saying they are now going to run an uprising starting from tomorrow, close down the shops, close down the nurses, the workers. The opposition has called for an uprising. So in these terms, this is done, supported, equipped, supplied by the Americans. So the Americans are the only people left on hitting Zimbabwe and making sure that they change my friend's government of Emerson Mnangagwa. They want to change it. It is not, if you look at the history of why is it that Zimbabwe, most of you people might think it is Zimbabwe which is wrong. There is a time bomb in South Africa. Malema has turned the anger on other blacks instead of turning the anger to the whites who have monopolized capital. The capital in South Africa is not in the hands of the black people, whom you are killing, whom you want to kill on a daily basis. The capital is in the hands of the farmers, the white race supremacists who are there, who run the capital, who run the banks, who run every institution in South Africa. But what Mugabe did and what the Mnangagwa has followed doing is to make sure that the black empowerment strand or strata that he has brought into his management goes on in an unwavering situation. There is nothing you are going to do. It has to go on. Land cannot be returned to the white farmers. Land will not return. The white farmers who remain in Zimbabwe are doing very well. And Miriam, one day you'll get a chance to go to Zimbabwe. Believe me, you might not want to come back to Kenya. You know, I don't know, but you might not want. Because, look, if you get an opportunity and have such a house in Zimbabwe, we talk about good houses, Runda, and we talk about good houses in Runda, we talk about good houses but when you go to private Zimbabweans themselves, they really have very powerful houses. Very, very powerful houses. To the extent that when they go, when you go to their houses, you might think someone sleeping in London saying, I have a very big house in Surrey, which is a 4-bedroom, and compared to the house in Zimbabwe, Miriam, you wouldn't compare it at all. Very good houses. They have done very well. The whites living in Zimbabwe have not been discriminated. I see the whites speak Shona. I'm very excited when you go with Professor Hoyle, my friend, my man whom, you know, people might think Hoyle is a British. David Hoyle is a Zimbabwean. And he speaks fluent Shona. You know? And we have been struggling. He opposes ICC together with me. And that is the type of life that we need for Africa. But unfortunately, Miriam, they seem to be pushing a push with the Americans opening offices in Zambia, a monitoring office where resources will be pumped in. I think if we are not careful, we might have another conflict mushrooming around that area. I submit, and I think that is the best that we can do. I want just to inform you that on Tuesday, for 3 hours, from 11 o'clock up to 1 o'clock, we shall have Zimbabwe, the uprising funded by George Soros. And there will be hundreds of Zimbabweans online. We shall be taking their calls under diplomatic leagues or Pan-African Forum. We shall have a lecture for 3 hours where Miriam and I moderate, and we discuss why Zimbabwe sanctions are hurting the citizens and why the West wants an uprising sooner than later in Zimbabwe. I submit, and I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Anybody else who has a word can add.
Gladwell?
No, actually I have nothing to add.
Thank you. Daniel?
Miriam, the problem now of speaking after Dr. Masanga is that, everything has been auspiciously been handled. And now
I think I am going to begin in order to talk. I will talk last. Miriam, can you choose me last next time?
he has the mastery about every topical issue in Africa. So I think, to me, I also don't, I wouldn't want to add anything on that. He has an authority in that.
Okay. And that is
Yes.
where we end today's show.
No, before we end, Miriam, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for holding the fort. It was my day today in the studio. I want to apologize that I'm very sorry for having given you a short notice that I was not going to come. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Gladwell Kiragu, our legacy correspondent, for having been there and gone in the rainy approach and the cold winter with the several servers unopened, that she has continued to find out why the servers are not open. Now she has come out with a philosophy that the people are saying this election, if it is going to be like this, let it not come. Isn't it true, Gladwell?
Yes, very true, Doc.
Thank you very much. I want also to thank Daniel Wesonga, that we are very happy as a family of Punchline. You gave me the authority to announce the other time for the newly born in your family, and today I think I have more authority to thank you, since you are online with me, that thank you very much for our newly born member of Punchline Africa TV, and you can say hi to the people on that note yourself, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. Pleasure is all mine, and I'm very, very appreciative even for the support that has come from your end to the family, and we keep on believing that God will keep on sustaining him, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Miriam, I want to thank you very much. This station, therefore, is for Africa. With Miriam, you have some word?
No.
Okay, this station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Ciao.